Hey everybody, it's Eddie J on Crypto for GrowMyBag.tv. There is so much going on. I couldn't fit everything into the Crypto Minute. And there's some important stuff. There's some really important stuff going on. We've got blockchain integration talks going on with regard to the Athens Exchange Group and their book building feature, right? You know, that's where the deals happen. They're actually thinking about putting that onto or integrating the SUI network, SUI, that coin. Yeah, so that could be a very big deal. And I'm expecting that news is going to make that coin pop a bit. That's actually very good news. So I am paying attention to that. Now, something else. Now, the reason why I'm paying attention to it is because when you see integrations, it's not just because the technology is good. It's also because the prices are good. So I'm going to be looking into those gas fees. That's what I'm going to be looking into. Something else that caught my attention. Two things out of Coinbase. The first one is because of the Bitcoin surge in pricing, the convertible bond prices for Coinbase have also been surging. That's kind of cool. So if you're involved in that, you're probably walking away with a couple of bucks. The next one is everybody's hyped over this whole AI coin thing. David Hahn, a analyst at Coinbase, is saying, listen, that's way overhyped, like way. And I'm sitting back and I'm going, being that my company, Revolutionize, we actually do, those kinds of integrations. We've done Web3 integrations, we've done AI integrations, built solutions on it, that whole thing. And we're sitting there and we're going, yeah, it is overhyped. Because first of all, companies are still trying to figure out how can we leverage AI, let alone how can we work with a coin that's leveraging AI? What is that coin doing? I'm not saying they're not doing anything. I'm not saying they're not bringing value to the table. I'm just saying it's a very big conversation. So those things, it's not that, for me, the hype is everybody's talking about what could happen as opposed to what is happening. That's my gripe. And I kind of agree with them. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on, and I'm sitting back and I'm just going, yeah, people are paying too much attention to the possibilities. Remember, it's just a possibility. It doesn't mean it's facts. It doesn't mean it's going to happen. It doesn't mean it actually can work. Hype, right? Some of it will work. Some of it absolutely will be great. Absolutely. But I think we might be a little ways off from that. Just a little ways off. Something else out of Coinbase is just, looking at that whole picture of how it works. I still didn't hear about how they're going to fix their outage problems. Thought I forgot, right? No, I didn't forget. I still didn't hear about that. But there's so much news going on that, it happens, people get upset, and then so much more news happens and people forget about it and move on until the next time it happens. I didn't forget. So I'm still waiting to hear how they're going to handle that problem. But here's the real issue. And I had to slap myself in the face for it. What happens if it's not a problem? What happens if that's a part of the plan? So yeah, I'm waiting for signs of that too. Next up, Federal Chair Powell got up and said, yeah, we're clarifying everything on the whole CBDC thing. Nothing's going on right now, but they are talking. It is on people's lips. The digital dollar could still happen. And I'm trying to understand what that actually means. Now, I'm not an economist or anything like that, but I wonder, who walks around with cash? There aren't too many people that actually walk around holding cash. One of the reasons why is when you go into stores and you're holding cash, cash is great from person to person, person to person. But when you want to bank that money, it's a little bit of a problem because the federal government is watching you. Put in too much? Oh, that's a red flag. Like, really? I took my youngest son. I told you my youngest son works for my oldest son. And I took my youngest son to the bank to deposit his tips. And it was a big number. It was a big number. He hadn't taken the money from tips for a while. And, so it was a big number. And I'm sitting there and I'm just going, I'm in my head, like just automatically I'm going through the calculations. I'm going, oh, wait a minute. Did he hit the $1,000 mark? No, he didn't. Okay, he's safe. Because then it would seem peculiar that this kid out of the blue is dropping in cash at that level, right? His birthday is 3 days before mine in August. Yeah, my birthday doesn't count. It doesn't. Once you have a kid who has a birthday near yours or on your birthday, you don't matter. You really don't. But I sat there and I was thinking about that. Like, what kind of process is that? That's kind of weird. So I think about, like, what is the impact of a digital dollar? And it's huge. It's bigger than what it is now. You've got Big Brother looking down on you, looking at all your transactions in more ways than one. Companies like MasterCard, Visa collect all of that information, aggregate it all, and sift through it for trends and all kinds of information they can get from that. And then they share that information. There's nothing wrong with that. They aggregate the information, and meaning that they wash away your names and specific transactions, that kind of thing. But they're calculating, like, how much money was spent, on necessary things, on all, like when you listen to CNBC and Fox News and all these business channels, when you hear them talk about, oh, well, consumer spending went up, this is where they're getting those numbers from, right? All that is where that gets connected. So I'm just saying, the digital dollar, just what else can happen other than my biggest fear is they literally control your money. If I'm holding a dollar bill in my hand, nobody can turn it off. Nobody can turn it on. It's a dollar bill. I can afford to buy maybe a bag of chips. Jokes, but seriously, maybe a bag of chips. And that's what I think about. If I'm holding a digital dollar, well, somebody can actually turn that specific digital dollar on or off. That's what can actually happen. So I do pay attention to any kind of news that I hear about the digital dollar. Next up, we have BlackRock. BlackRock wants to integrate Bitcoin spot ETFs into their global allocation fund. And that's big. That's really big. Did you also know that they have a filing? My son's going to school, so Stitch is getting upset. Every morning, it happens every morning. All the kids leave the house, Stitch gets upset. But when I'm looking at everything that's going on with regard to, the financial vehicles that are being offered out there right now. So Bitcoin filed for options on their Bitcoin spot ETF. Did you know that? I think there might be one other company that might have done it. It might have been Fidelity, but I have to look into that. But my point is that application got kicked down the road. They're delaying until at least April. The SEC, that is. Why? If the SEC is going to kick the can down the road, they should be forced to give a specific reason why. And if that reason is on their end, when they plan on correcting that problem. And if it's persistent, then heads should roll, right? People should get fired. But we all know that they're arbitrarily kicking the can down the road. But I want you to take those two key points. The fact that, BlackRock wants to introduce Bitcoin spot ETFs into more of its funds, as well as they want to do options trading. And I want you to take a look at how quickly Bitcoin went from being a hated thing, because that's how they reference it, it's just this thing, to being an integral part of financial solutions that are going to be offered to retail customers. It's faster than credit cards. In my book, I actually talk about that. It's faster than credit cards. I'll give you a quick example. Credit cards were invented in 1950 or rolled out in 1950 by Diners Club. In 1970, credit cards was still not a big deal. I think it was 1980. So when I was a kid, that's when credit cards started being adopted. Now every store had to have its credit card. Diners Club was still a big card, but then you had Discover, you had MasterCard, you had American Express. You still had all these other cards that were still battling. They literally they were fighting over it. And then it started becoming the norm. People started living off of future revenue. That's what credit is. I will pay you in the future from the future money that I get. After that, it wasn't until I think 86 or 89 that you actually had credit bureaus start reporting on that. So that's how long it took. You're talking, what, 36 or 39 years? It's close to 40 years either way before credit cards really became adopted and living by cash went away. That's huge. In 2009, Bitcoin was born. It's now 2024, and it's already in retail locations. It's being allocated to, or being used in, different funds around the world, by the way, around the world. Excuse me. So when I look at the adoption, 40 years, or even if you just said 39, 36 years versus what, 15? Wow. Let that wash over you for a minute. Now, with regard to compliance issues and regulatory compliance issues around the world, Binance is having a big problem. Binance's problem is that they have never really taken regulatory compliance seriously. And you can tell, no matter what they say, you can tell that it's a problem for them systemically, because they're having to leave countries or shut down certain services in countries all around the world. The list is getting longer for the amount of countries that Binance has to pull back and fix things and blah, blah, blah. Nigeria was one. I told you about that yesterday. India, South Korea, there are other countries that they're having problems in. Let's go back to my previous videos. You can see there is a list. While other exchanges are expanding, Binance is having problems. This is what I mean by fumbling the bag. Biggest centralized exchange in the world, and they fumbled the bag in the United States. Truly. Binance.us is hosed. They might not recover. Laying off three quarters of their staff last year. Not just now, last year. Because they have a court case against them by the United States. That's a problem. Just saying. Just putting that out there for you. SEC, like I said, the iShares Bitcoin Trust, they want to have options. That's BlackRock. We'll get to you. Maybe. Later. Why? Why not? No reason. We'll just get to you later. Because we can just arbitrarily say we'll get back to you later. When I look at all these things, it tells me how I'm going to invest in the future, right? It tells me what kind of impact can I expect in the future. So that positive impact from having options on the Bitcoin spot ETF from BlackRock, okay, I'm not going to be able to make a move on that. That positive impact is not going to happen at least until April. That's actually a good thing to me. The reason why that's a good thing to me is because there are other things happening before then that are really going to make people's eyes pop. It's going to become 100% harder because of a halving event, which means that Bitcoin becomes more scarce, right? Because you're not going to be creating the same amount of Bitcoin as you are now. It'd be cut in half, hence halving event. That makes it a harder commodity to come by. That's going to be tough. You have companies like Tesla that might be buying more Bitcoin. You have companies like Block that are definitely going to be buying more Bitcoin. Why? Because people are maneuvering Bitcoin on Cash App. If you've got Cash App, you can snatch up some Bitcoin and send it to whoever, pay them however. That's convenient. That is very convenient. They made it easy for you to on-ramp your money, purchase some Bitcoin, send it wherever. Boom, boom, boom. I had somebody pay me a bill and I walked her through doing, the whole Cash App thing in less than 3 minutes. Just saying. It's not just the investment in crypto, it's the adoption and usage of crypto that drives me forward. That's how I do my research. If you notice, I don't sit there and tell you, oh, this might go up because the numbers and blah, blah. No. I come back always to the news. I come back to macro, micro, mini events that can have an effect on a given crypto network, whatever. That's what I do. That way it gives me an opportunity to look across the whole investment spectrum, how Bitcoin NFTs could be used to fractionalize, real estate holdings, how that same technology can be used to actually track titles in property ownership. Yeah, that's right. There are states in the United States that are looking at how they can use NFTs to actually track titles for cars, and starting off with cars. Then it'll move to real estate, trust me, because that's the common sense thing. It really, really is. Because title companies are going to have to change their model. So there's a whole impact that crypto can have on what we're doing right now that's making people go, oh man. The first company that shows up, the first title company that shows up and says, we're going to digitize all of this, that's the survivor. Everybody else is going to have to freaking scramble. Because you do it once, I'm not going to need it again because it's on the blockchain. I can see it. I can see at this stamp in time, this person owns it, period. Or this company owns it. This entity owns this fractional or whole title. Done. It'll become as easy as looking it up on the blockchain. That's what I'm talking about when it comes to market disruption. Anyway, you know what we should do? And I did it again. I didn't put my, I really have to do better. You see this? I have to put that on there and I didn't. Ugh, so annoying. And then when I switch screens, I take it off, right? And it's a pain in the tail because you can't have both of them on there at the same time. So I've got to take one off and then switch over and then get into the numbers. Let's refresh this screen because it's been like 10, 15 minutes since I refreshed. And now let's look at who's winning. So it comes right here. That's it. My 5% rule kicks in and only 3 coins fall within that. So, and there are 3 coins I'm not even paying attention to. So let's skip over here and look at all this double digit stuff going on. Doge is the only one on this list that's only up 9%. And trust me, it was up 10% just a little while ago. So almost everything on here is 10%. That's crazy. Shiba Inu up 10%. Scicoin up 12%. I'm looking to see if Sui caught that pop yet, and they didn't catch that pop yet. My son is probably going to call me up and laugh. His coin, Floki, up 46%. I mean, he's not going to laugh at me. I mean, he just bought into it. And he just likes knowing that he did something. But 46%, it's up. Let's see. Pepe is up 23%. You know how I feel about Pepe. And remember, Pepe, Dog with Hat, they're both up 23% for Pepe, 22% for Dog with Hat. I want you to think about this. Dog with Hat was way down the past couple of days, and all of a sudden it's all the way back up. You see what I mean by the sways? So depending on when you get in, right? So now it's up. I wouldn't touch this at all. I'm waiting for the drop. I'm waiting for the drop if I was to get in. I'm not in, but I would be waiting for the drop. And that's good money to make. That's really good money to make. 22%? When are you going to make 22% off of any other vehicle that you have? That's when I stop and go, pay attention to that. Let's see what else. Myro, I mentioned it the other day. It's at 15% upward momentum. Qcoin is up 13%. Bonk is up 13%. No, I'm not touching Bonk. It's not happening. It's just not happening, right? If you look at the big board, Ethereum is up. Have people been paying attention to Ethereum? Almost at 4,000. I told you Ethereum could hit 4,000 this week. It's highly possible. I still got today and tomorrow left. But I think definitely within the next couple of weeks, it's going to hit 4,000. Definitely within the next couple of weeks, I think we're going to be well above 70,000 for Bitcoin. Solana is up at 149. Have you been paying attention? Have you been paying attention? People were laughing at me when I bought Solana at like 99 bucks. I had bought previously when it was lower, but I bought it at 99 bucks. I was like, I'm telling you, there are numbers that we're seeing that we're probably not going to see again in a lot of coins. It's highly possible that we'll never see $99 out of Solana again. unless there's some kind of big problem, like a major outage that they can't recover from. XRP is up 62 cents, Doge, SHIB. You know, you're looking at major movements. There's Dog with Hat. Here's Link above $20 again. I love when Link is above $20. Love when Link is above $20. Chainlink can actually play a major role in that example that I gave you with regard to fractionalized ownership as well as titles. Just saying, there's a lot going on there. A lot. You know what? You know what just hit me? VeChain could actually be used very well in real estate titles. It really can. Really can. Fast, cheap. Oh yeah, that one could happen. Arbitrum is up. Let's look at this. Look at this map. Told you we're trading now within this band, this blue and green band right here. So from 63,714 to 69,355. That's a very narrow band. If you really want to get tighter, we're really trading from like right about, we could say right about here. Really 65 to 65,000. Really trading within a very narrow space. And we seem to do that a lot. We trade within a narrow space for a period of time and all of a sudden just break out. And you can see it right here. Here's my yellow band right here. We traded for a long time within that yellow band. Then we just broke out. Then we started trading a long time within this light blue band. Then we just broke out. Now we were trading for a little bit of time within this completely blue band, but we're still trading between here and here. Larger, right? Larger lateral movement, but still lateral movement within that space. And that can happen again. I think that we're on the cusp. Look at this; it's pointing up right now. We're on the cusp of another pop out. I think that's what's going to happen. Anyway, this is Eddie J on crypto for growmybag.tv. If you like what I'm doing, please drop me a note. Love hearing from you guys. If there are suggestions, improvements, yes, I know I owe people some research. It's been really, really crazy. You know, we're on the final draft of the book. The class is already ready to go. I might push that date back only because of the printing of the book. Everybody that takes the class gets the physical copy of the book. And that's very important because I think for people, it's one of those things they can pick up and read real quick. Don't ask me for an electronic version because, yeah, that's a lot of work to just give it away for free. Once one person has it, everybody has it. Just saying. So yeah, I'm like really close. I think over this weekend we should be done with the book, and by next week, Monday, Tuesday, we should have it out to the printers. Anyway, if you like what I'm doing, drop me a note. If you have critiques, suggestions on how I can make it better, again, please drop me a note on growmybag.tv. I love you all. Moshe, check your email because you should have gotten a verification email when you signed up. All right, everybody, have a good one. Bye bye.